everyone, welcome back to my travel diary series. Now, I can't remember if I mentioned it in my previous episode, but in today's episode we will be taking a walk through Yokohama doing a bit of sightseeing. So to start the day, we took the train from Nakayama Station to Sakuragicho. Now, when we arrived, our first planned stop for the day was walking to the Yokohama Landmark Tower. Now, on the way to the Yokohama Landmark Tower, there was a lot of amazing sights to see just from the station to the actual tower itself. There was like this little bay area that had this massive old ship that was on display there. And in the distance you could see like this massive Ferris wheel as well. Yokohama is definitely a really nice, picturesque area. So when we arrived at the Yokohama Landmark Tower, I didn't really know too much about what to expect. All I really know is that it's, I think, one of the tallest buildings and it just has a very good view. That's pretty much all I know. Now, to go up to the top floor, there was an entry fee which was about 1,000 yen per person, which is roughly $9. And as it turns out, the Yokohama Landmark Tower actually holds the record for the fastest elevator in the world. It went up so quickly that my ears popped on the way up. It was pretty crazy. And it took like 30 seconds to go up more than 60 floors. It was very, very fast. Now, from the top of the tower, there really was an amazing view of Yokohama and the surrounding areas. And actually, from this first viewing point of the Landmark Tower, you can actually see where we'll be heading a little bit later on in the video, which is down around this area where the Ferris wheel is. And also from this viewing point, you can also see the Tokyo Skytree, which I attempted to zoom in to see if I could see it, but my phone obviously isn't that good. You could imagine being up here would be really amazing with like a proper camera setup and maybe like a telephoto lens. The shots you could get would be absolutely incredible. So the joining room from the first viewing window to the second, there's actually this room with a projector map of the Yokohama area. Now, I have no idea how this map actually works, but it basically tracks you and where you are, and it shows you everything that's in that surrounding area. I don't think I've ever really seen anything quite like this before, so it was really unique to see.
Actually tells you about it. Oh, there's cherry blossoms in there.
So when we got to the second viewing spot, you can actually see here at the top, which I forgot to film in the first one, there's these photos that have labels of all of the different things you can see from these viewing windows. And I did take a couple of photos you can see from the previous room that actually shows you what it looks like at night as well, which as you can see looks very amazing. You can really tell from being up so high and having a view like this, the whole area of Yokohama looks and feels so much different to how it does back here in Melbourne. And from certain spots from the Landmark Tower, when it's a clear day, you can even see Mount Fuji from here, which unfortunately it wasn't that clear today, so we couldn't actually see Mount Fuji this time. Now, on the way to the next viewing spot, they actually had some of these Gachapon machines, and they actually had one that I'd seen before that I really wanted to get, which was this Gachapon machine gacha. So I had to get a couple of them because they do look very cool and they can actually link together as well. Now, just a couple of machines away from the gacha, there was a Kirby one as well, which I couldn't resist. I mean, it's Kirby. Now, all of the gacha that I got on this day, I've actually been holding onto them to basically open them during this video. So I plan to actually do a bit of an opening at the end of the video as well. And I do plan on keeping all of the capsules and bringing them back to Japan to recycle them correctly as well. So after getting a few gacha, we headed along to the third viewing window. And on the way there was actually this small little cafe. Now, for some reason, reason, this whole trip I had kind of had a craving for ice cream, which they actually had at this little cafe, which was that Japanese soft drink ramune flavored soft serve ice cream. Now it was 550 yen for the soft serve ice cream, which kind of seemed a little bit pricey, but in saying that, the taste was absolutely amazing, and just look at it, it just looks so perfect. So after we finished our ice cream, we headed to the last viewing spot, and the view from this one was a little bit blocked because there was a lot of Tokyo Revengers advertising up here for some reason, and there was stickers all over the windows which kind of blocked the view quite a bit. Now there was also a gift store up here which we did have a little bit of a look around, but I didn't really film it. There wasn't a whole lot there that was very interesting. So we decided to head back down and go to a nearby department store where we would just do a little bit of shopping. And in the elevator, my ears were popping again because it just goes down so quickly.
We will soon arrive. 5th floor. We hope you will enjoy rest of your time here at Landmark Plaza Shopping Center. Thank you. Door opening. Please stand clear.
So at the nearby department store, we had a look at a Lego shop that was there. So we'd actually planned on buying some Lego for my nephew that I mentioned in a previous video, who's quite sick, because he absolutely loves construction type vehicles like bulldozers and diggers and all that kind of stuff. And he really likes the Lego of it as well. Now, while we were there, I saw these Lego pieces of different artwork and they looked really cool. I kind of regret not getting one, but in saying that, Lego in general is just so expensive. So after the Lego store, we had a little bit more of a look around at the department store where we saw this Sanrio Vivitix. Now this store is just a very overly cute store that has a lot of different Japanese mascot characters like Hello Kitty, Gudetama, all that kind of stuff, which my personal favorite is definitely Gudetama. I just like that really lazy personality that they gave him. Now, just next door to the Sanrio Vivitix, there was a gacha salon. Now, in here, we did decide to get a couple more gacha, which was these Gura Neko, which kind of look like gangster cats. So we got a couple of these ones, and I think they were about 300 yen each, or about $3. Also, the ones from earlier, the Gachapon machine one was 200 yen each, and the Kirby was 300 yen each. So after looking around this department store a little bit, we headed over to that area where the big Ferris wheel was. And one of the first things that we saw there was the Yokohama Cupnoodle Museum. Now, I kind of regret going to the Osaka Cupnoodle Museum because this one looks at least twice the size. It was absolutely huge and it was so crowded. So because we did go to the Osaka Cupnoodle Museum, we did decide to give this one a miss this time around, but we will probably do it next time we come back to Japan. And while we were there, we saw this sign that was advertising for cup noodle flavored soft serve ice cream, which I did really want to try, but I don't think my wife was too into that idea. Now, in this cup noodle museum, they also had like a little sit down restaurant where you could just sit and have lunch as well, which the food on the sign here does look very appetizing, which isn't normally something I think when I think of cup noodle, to be honest. I mean, I like cup noodle, but I wouldn't think about sitting down and eating lunch out at a cup noodle place. The gift store here was absolutely huge as well. It was way bigger than the one at the Osaka Cupnoodle Museum. So after the Cupnoodle Museum, we continued to do a little bit of sightseeing while we headed down to a place called the Red Brick Warehouse. So we didn't actually know it at the time, but just next to the Red Brick Warehouse, they actually had a massive celebration for Oktoberfest. So the entry was about 500 yen or $5 each. And it was so crowded and it was so lively, and yeah, we just really did not expect this at all. The food at the event looked really, really good, but it was just impossible to get a table anywhere. So unfortunately, we didn't really have anything to eat because we weren't able to sit down. So after having a bit of a look around, and we did a free wine tasting that was there as well, we just ended up heading into the Red Brick Warehouse and grabbing lunch in there, which again, like a rookie, completely completely forgot to film it, but there was a couple of different food courts in there, but the food was really, really good. And from the back of the red brick warehouse area, there was also a really good view of the bay area. Now, I highly recommend coming here if you're ever in the Yokohama area or even in Tokyo, because it's really not that far from Tokyo. The overall vibe of the area here in Yokohama feels so much different to a lot of other places in Japan. So after we had lunch, we headed back to the train station and we took the train to Yokohama Station because we planned on also going to the Pokemon Center in Yokohama. Now, I did forget to film it, but they also had some Pokemon gacha just outside of the Pokemon Center, which I did end up getting one of them. So I'll be filming that one at the end of this video when I do the little opening of all the gacha that I got during this day. So the Yokohama Pokemon Center had a seaside theme to it. So the Yokohama Pokemon Center had a lot of similar products as to the Osaka one, but there was also a lot of unique items here that I don't remember seeing at the Osaka Pokemon Center. And we also managed to pick up a lot of these Pokemon bath balls as gifts for my nephew as well while we were here. Now, these Pokemon centers are really dangerous. There was just so many amazing products in here that I really wanted to buy. Like these big sleepy Pokemon plushies were just so cute. I also really like all of the different set items that they have at the Pokemon centers. Like all of these ones here look like they would be really good to decorate my desk area with, or maybe like a bookshelf or something like that. And these fluffy plushies look really cute as well. All of the Pokemon centers that I've been to have had such a big variety of plushies of all different sizes and a lot of different stationery as well. Now, at the Pokemon centers, they also have a lot of really cute baby stuff as well, such as toys, bottles, dishware, and clothing. So while we're at the Pokemon Center, we did buy a few gifts for people back here in Australia. Just across from the Pokemon Center, there was this official Bandai Gachapon station, where we did end up getting a few more gacha, but we gave those ones away as gifts. Now, while I was in Japan, there was this one gacha that I wanted to find, which I ended up finding in a back corner in this store. Now, I did forget to film it, but it will be at the end of the Gachapon opening, and this particular one also cost 500 yen, so it was a bit more expensive than the other ones. And speaking of which, it's now actually time to open the gacha. So starting with the ones that we got at the Yokohama Landmark Tower, first up we have the Gachapon machines. So with these ones, you do have to put the stickers on yourself, and you get one of two displays to actually put in the little window of the gacha machine. So with this first one, you could choose between dinosaurs or insects. And as I mentioned, these ones were 200 yen each. Now, getting the gacha capsules out was a little bit difficult. I do recommend using a blade if you get one of these to get them out, because if you just try and get them out with your hands, they do get little bits of plastic sort of sticking off them, which can be a little bit annoying. Now, for this one, I did also decide to go with the insects. And one thing I'll just mention as well is when putting this first one together, I didn't use any tweezers or anything like that, or the stickers, and they were very, very small and very difficult to put on. I mean, I did do a good job, but it took quite a while to get them just right. Now, these are also working gacha, so you can actually spin the little knob and the gacha ball will fall down. Although in saying that, my fingers are definitely too big for it. It is actually quite difficult for me to spin the little knob, but yeah, it's still very cool. So for the second gacha, when setting it up, I did grab a blade as well as some tweezers for the stickers, and it was much, much easier to set this one up. Now for the display on this one, I had to choose between bread rolls or sharks. I felt like the sharks would match up with the insects a little bit more, so I decided to go with that one. And as I mentioned before, the reason why I wanted two of these was because you can join them together. So you can either stack them on top of each other like this, or you can link them side by side with these little clips that they provide. Now the next ones that we got at the Landmark Tower were the Kirby ones. And as I mentioned before, these ones were 300 yen each. Now this blue Kirby was very cute. Now to me, these Kirby actually feel like a rubber duck like you would have in a bathtub as a kid. And the green one had a much angrier face, but it was still cute because, well, Kirby. So next up we have the gacha that we got at the gacha salon, which was the Gureneko gangster cats. As I mentioned, these ones were 300 yen each. Now, the first one that we got was this grey bangle pattern sort of cat that's giving kind of like a fist bump. And the second one that we got was a brown spotted cat, which was also doing a fist bump. So I was kind of glad that the two that we got were both doing the same thing, because now I can set them up together doing a fist bump. Next up was the Pokemon Center gacha, which I forgot to film. Now this one was part of a Pokemon picnic sort of set. Now I don't actually remember what the price of the Pokemon gacha was. Now from this one we ended up getting this little Pokemon called Dedenne. Now, the final gacha, which I also forgot to film, was the one that I had actually been looking for, and as I mentioned, this one cost 500 yen, and it was a vending machine gacha. Now, out of all of the vending machines that you can get from this gacha, the two that I really wanted was the one with the stripes and also the brown one, which I was pretty happy because I ended up actually getting the brown one that I wanted. Now, like the gacha machine gacha, this one also has like a little drink in it that can come out when you push the button. Now, while we're in Japan, I did take this little video here of all of the Pokemon goodies that we got as gifts, which I kind of regret not really getting anything for myself because all of these products were really, really good quality. And if you're in Australia, they are just so much cheaper over there than what they are here, and the quality is way, way better. So that was pretty much it for today's video. This was just a really nice relaxed day of sightseeing and shopping, along with some good surprises with the Oktoberfest. It was overall a really great day, and I really enjoyed the vibe of the Yokohama area, and I highly recommend going there if you are nearby. And I'm personally really looking forward to coming back to Yokohama. Now, in next week's episode of my travel diary series, I actually have a really special video planned. So during this trip, we actually got the opportunity to stay at a really exclusive hotel in Toba, Japan. Now, I actually really can't wait to revisit this area by making the travel. Now, I'm actually really looking forward to revisiting this area myself, making these travel diary videos, and I really hope that you look forward to that. Now, if you enjoyed this video and you've been enjoying my previous travel diary videos, it would be absolutely amazing and help me out a lot if you could hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and click that notification bell for future updates. I really do hope that you look forward to the next video. I'm really excited about it myself. So until then, bye for now.